is Alex, and I've always dreamed of a quiet life in the countryside. The city noise, traffic, and neighbors' constant chatter drove me crazy. So when I found an ad for an old house in a village at a ridiculously low price, I didn't hesitate to call the owner. The house was an hour's drive from the city, tucked away in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by a forest. In the pictures, it looked weathered but sturdy, wooden walls, a sagging porch, and tall windows with cracked glass. A little renovation and it'll be good as new, I thought. The owner, an elderly man with a tired voice, said he wanted to get rid of the house quickly. Too many memories, he mumbled before hanging up. I drove out to see the house the next day. It looked even gloomier than in the photos. The trees around it were bare, despite it being summer, and the air felt heavy, thick with dampness. Inside, it smelled of mold. The floorboards creaked, and the walls were covered in strange scratches, as if someone had dragged a knife across them. But the price was so low that I ignored the red flags. I signed the papers right there, and within a week, the house was mine. The first few days were uneventful. I started fixing the place up, painting the walls, repairing the roof, and clearing out the junk left by the previous owners. But with each passing day, I began noticing strange things. At night, I'd hear rustling sounds, like someone walking on the attic floor above me. At first, I thought it was mice, but the noises were too heavy, like the footsteps of an adult. I went up there a few times with a flashlight, but all I found was dust and old boxes. One night, I woke up to a loud thud. It was coming from the basement. I grabbed my flashlight and went downstairs. The basement was small, with a low ceiling and a dirt floor. In the corner, there was a pile of old boards and a rusty axe nearby. The thudding stopped as soon as I entered, but I felt like I was being watched. I turned around, and for a split second, I thought I saw a shadow in the dark corner, tall, thin, with unnaturally long arms. I aimed my flashlight, but there was nothing there. My heart was racing. I ran out of the basement and locked the door behind me. The next day, I convinced myself it was just my imagination. I was alone in an old house, far from anyone. Of course, my nerves were playing tricks on me. But that evening, things got worse. I was sitting in the living room when I heard a whisper. It was faint, barely audible, but I made out the words, "Leave or stay forever." The voice sounded like it was right in my ear. I jumped up, looking around, but the room was empty. The whisper came again, louder this time, with a raspy edge, as if whatever was speaking was getting angry. I ran outside, but the whisper followed me, blending with the rustling leaves. I decided I had to leave. The next day, I packed my things, but as I was getting into my car, I noticed one of the upstairs windows was open. I was sure I'd closed all the windows before leaving. I went back inside to check. When I reached the second floor, I froze. There were footprints on the bedroom floor, long clawed prints, as if something had been walking around. The prints led to a mirror on the wall. I stepped closer and I nearly screamed. In the reflection behind me stood the shadow I'd seen in the basement. Its eyes glowed red, and its smile was wide, inhuman. It raised a hand, pointing at me, and whispered, "You're already mine." I bolted out of the house, not even bothering to close the door. My car started on the first try, and I drove away as fast as I could, not looking back until I reached the city. I told my friend everything, but he just laughed, saying I was overworked. But I know what I saw. I saw that creature, and it saw me. A week later, I gathered the courage to sell the house. I called the same realtor who helped me buy it. When I explained why I wanted to sell, he went quiet. Then he said softly, "You're not the first." The previous owner mentioned a shadow too. He died a month after leaving. I hung up, but I haven't been able to sleep since. Every night I hear footsteps outside my window. Sometimes I see a shadow in the reflection. It's following me, and I know that one day it'll find me.